Hey guys, welcome to our channel, The Conscious Hub. My name is Alex and this is Julia.
Hi.
See, everything we do, everything we believe in is to challenge any and all limitations that may be holding you back individually and collectively. Giving you the tools, systems and resources in order to find your free will, create space to discover yourself and to gift this to the world. To develop, grow and expand to new heights you've never experienced before.
Our combined roles and life experiences in relationships, running businesses, workshops, coaching, and speaking globally has brought us together to share with you everything we know to serve you at the highest level. We will be bringing you our real life experiences as well as life experiences of other people in different formats in order to navigate you through this world as it continues to unfold, to help you through your toughest and your best times.
So we'll be doing this through the medium of podcast, where we'll be discussing a wide range of topics between ourselves and bringing on guests that can really give valuable information to help you and to bring you on live so we can actually have an interaction that can best serve everyone who's listening to it. That could obviously take you to a whole new level. So just a little bit about me. My name is Alex Roseman. I'm a multi-award winning international speaker, breakthrough coach, and best-selling author on Amazon, and have been an actor. So my experience so far up to this point is just a detriment to personal growth, personal development, and why I believe in it so much in order for me to be able to take the big leaps so that my life can keep on growing through all these trials and tribulations, from my experiences and from the experience of clients I've coached, and to the speaking arrangements all around the world representing likes of Tony Robbins. I've had to be faced with an extraordinary amount of challenges, and what I want to do is impart this knowledge onto you to save you time, money, any other resources, so that you can get to where you want to get to at quantum speed. This is why we put this together, and we want to do it in the most natural, authentic way for you to reach your goals. I'm at where I am in my life now because of my learning from my past rather than being a victim from it. I had illnesses when I was a child, from pneumonia to hearing problems. I lost my mother to breast cancer at the age of 9 years old, which obviously had a devastating effect on the family. I had to move to London from a countryside, so having to adapt to a whole new culture. And I was really unconscious throughout this. I had to escape through smoking, drinking, and partying as much as I could to not face the challenges, the emotional pain I was going through. And this went in throughout my 20s until it got to a point where my life wasn't moving in the direction I wanted, and I had to understand why. Why was this happening? And through the course of learning, realizing that what I was doing wasn't getting the result I wanted, I needed to change somewhere quickly. After a few life knockbacks, I found myself really at the point, it felt like, of no return, riding in the back of a red double-decker bus with my head down, hoodie over, wondering where am I going to sleep tonight. And from that moment, I realized something clearly had to change, and starting the journey of personal development, reading books, and then ending up at UPW with Tony Robbins. Through this exercise, the circle of life, I saw that my life had represented at that time a toxic waste sign. Clearly, something had to change rapidly. So in the last few years, by just implementing the things I've learned through the personal growth, I've seen my life completely transform. It's actually hard to believe, to look back of who I was, realizing that, you know what, the power really is in our hands. We can really shape the universe. You know, we have the power within us to make our dreams happen, and it surprises me still every single day. So through this journey, of course, me climbing up one side of the mountain, Julia has been climbing up the other side of the mountain, where we've been able to meet at the peak of where we are at right now, which makes it so exciting to, well, share from this time and space.
I'm Julia Fetisova. I'm a mother, life coach, entrepreneur, and just someone who genuinely loves people. All of my life efforts I have dedicated towards learning about personal development and development of humankind at large. I have thrown myself into different areas of development, from academic learning about the social constructs and historical developments to life coaching and just spiritual growth. Everything that is really defining the human development and human spirit has always been so interesting to me. I am now dedicating my focus to building businesses around improving the quality of living of people and contributing to their personal development, and making evolution and progress my main priority. Seeing what unites us and what separates us, what stops us and what grows us, what motivates us and what limits us. Life has generously given me abundant opportunities to test my open mindedness and resilience and adaptability, proving that all the limitations are in our minds. And as soon as we realize that, as soon as we choose to dive into our resources that are available to us at all times and take that leap of faith and be brave enough to receive what it is we deserve to receive and dream and envision a life that has so many limitless opportunities to develop and experience itself. When we give ourselves that chance, when we love ourselves enough, then it becomes this abundant, beautiful journey of self discovery. And having gone through that, I make it my life mission to share it with you in whichever way I can. So now, this is the time to ask yourselves these questions. What are my highest values? Am I honestly living according to my highest values? Am I living the quality of life that I know I can create for myself, or am I running according to the old programming? These are the times when we are facing the choices and responsibilities we have made individually and collectively. Now's the time to be real. Now's the time to be honest. Now's the time to be raw. And this is why we're here. And this is why we have combined our experiences to put it together in a system and in the form that is easily available in bite sizes for you guys. It's time to take action, to reflect who you truly are. Where the old paradigms of separation and resistance no longer apply, where flexibility and open mindedness are the most important skills. We're here to assist in creating a new reality where separation and conflict no longer apply. We are here to create the world of abundance, because in the world of abundance, there's no such thing as competition. When the cup is full of happy, real experiences, it overflows onto everyone else. It's like igniting a fire and taking it candle by candle until it becomes wildfire and spreads throughout the world. This is the vision we have for this channel.
So how these wildfires show up from what we're doing is through courses, programs, and systems through apps. One of them being the value game we're developing to help parents with their children in their behavior in the times of this pandemic. It's certainly very helpful. And this is how we're going to show up to make your life even more convenient. As Warren Buffett once said, the best investment you'll ever make is in yourself.
And this is just the beginning. This is just the start of a great journey together. By initiating this process and opening our communication channels, again, as Alex said, during the times of pandemics or whatever other challenges we're facing, looking on the inside and looking at our resourcefulness is the way that can empower ourselves and everybody around us further to create a stronger bond with ourselves and others.
Personal development is like creating a deep reservoir. So whenever you get thirsty, you can look within and know that the water you need will always be there.
And the reason why we feel we have something special to share with you guys is because we believe we found a unique combination, a synergy, if you may, of talents experiences and resources that serve as the alchemical formula that we can share with you to further empower your life.
With this, we can ultimately shift your perception from my own experience from a victim mindset to now being empowered so I can make these decisions that are impacting my life, our life. And of course, sharing that with you through the many different systems and programs and podcasts and anything we can basically to add value to your life.
We know that if you are open to learning from us and whoever else we invite into our space, then you'll be able to create the shift towards the life that you didn't even know was possible. Most of our lives, we're coming from the perspectives of how things are supposed to be. We've been taught that from when we were little. We've been seeing that in the examples and experiences of our parents and our peers. And according to that, we decide to build our life. Now, what if we told you that it doesn't have to be the same way as it has been before? What if we told you that by taking the leap of faith and believing in yourself enough and being courageous enough, you can challenge and break through stereotypes that have been built for millennia? And that the real and the true, authentic you has not yet come out to play.
When you start the journey of personal development, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be faced with challenges every single day. Something new may or may not trigger you. It doesn't mean it's not a reason to go and explore further. And every time you release a new layer, like a layer of the onion, you may shed a few more tears. Now, this takes bravery, courage to go there. When you do things like this, you understand that you learn new things about yourself and what you're capable of doing. And where you are at the moment is where you're supposed to be. That's great. And we can always improve every single day and go in this exploration further and further down the rabbit hole to uncover who we are. And every day I'm still learning about who I am and who we are. And each time there is a new challenge, a new obstacle. Sometimes I will catch myself being critical, and I realize it's okay if you keep on persevering and you are kind to yourself and compassionate, then you're willing to go that much further. You're willing to go after your goals, your dreams, because at the beginning, you may notice how critical you are and how much you judge yourself. And it scares you to go after what you want because you're left with yourself, that judging parent. More you focus and deal with that voice, and more loving you become and self-appreciative of the journey you're beginning, the more you're willing to put yourself out there because you're not so self-critical. Because we can be our own worst enemy. And I know this for a fact, just how hard I can be on myself and how limiting that actually is. It stops me and it stops people I see around me going that much further. So what we're here to do is hopefully start to bring down that inner critique within yourself to say it's okay, so you can take that little step every single day towards whatever it is you want. And we want to be there, part of your journey, so that you can finally get clear on what that is, get to know who you are, and really start to clear any self-judgment and that critical voice and start to be on your own side.
So it's coming back to that basic principle of enough or not enough. More often than not, that critical parent inside of us is telling us that we are not enough. We are not smart enough. We are not thin enough. We are not funny enough. Whatever it might be, it is the projection of them. But that doesn't mean it doesn't actually influence our inner conversation.
And that leads me to what we are facing now. How you're seeing us is through social media, right? Now, not only do we have to worry about the parent judging us, but now, what about us comparing ourselves to anyone and everyone out there from Instagram who's got this, the fastest car, the best body? We can compare ourselves and minimize ourselves to the point that we shame ourselves. And that's really important to be aware of, because when we start going down that road and we compare to others, it's a slippery slope and we'll never, ever win. We can never compete with a billion people. The only one person you must really focus and compete with is yourself. And that's all we can do. We can only ever really focus on ourselves, develop ourselves, and rather than comparing about what someone else has more of, because going there, you're taking all the power away from yourself and you're giving it to someone else. They are in control of your happiness. You're leaving it up to them to say if you're enough or not, where really the power lies with you. Wouldn't you rather have it there than giving it out there? So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure to remind you how powerful you are. It's in your hands, and the more you throw it out there, the less empowered you'll be. So keep it here with yourself, and we'll give you the tools in order for you to access that by all the people we bring on here and the conversation that we have from our own real life experiences. So you can live that through us, because we want to do a lot of the heavy lifting, but we realize that you will have to do some lifting. As Jim Rohn said, we can't do your push-ups for you.
So this space is about a raw, authentic, real discovery. This is about reaching into the depths of the feelings and the emotions that unite us all, that bring us all to the same level, because in the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all humans discovering ourselves and experiencing ourselves. We might take different avenues of how we want to do that, but in the end of the day, what unites us all is that human spirit. And for us to create that space for that raw authenticity and to bring it out onto such a wide audience is a call of action for you. Is a call of action for you to call that part of yourself that is brave, that part of yourself that knows it can experience more, that part of yourself that has the access to those resources or wants to experience access to those resources, so more and more depths can be experienced to this life.
It's so important to have a vision, something that you can picture in your mind of how you would like your life to look in some way. So if you haven't already, what could you imagine? Your dream, whatever that is. And we did this exercise with the kids just recently, to be able to draw it out. If you wanted to place it in some way and just put it out there, describe it to yourself as vividly as you can, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So you may as well use this powerful thing that's within all of us and utilize it in a way that gets you what it is you want, at least a starting point, and then just let it go. Let it go, not to be attached to it per se. Then find out what it is that resonates with you. What would you always have loved to have been doing? You may have been judged before, back in your child. Your parents may have said, no, you can't do this. But what's really important? What would you love to do that you would feel that if you did it, you wouldn't have the regret at the end of your life, because by then it's just too late. And I'd rather you get rid of that, face the judgment, because again, I'd rather have the world against me than my own soul. And if you can do this and appreciate yourself and what you have, that you can deal with those fears and face it head on, then you're going to allow yourself to be the inspiration for many others as you start to follow and chase your own dreams.
It's nurturing that feeling inside of you when you are creating that vision mood board. It's really not necessarily attaching to how things are supposed to look, but how they're supposed to feel, because sometimes even this whole lockdown situation has taught us that instead of us sitting here and waiting to break away and to regain our freedom of, travel and doing the things that we're used to, all it takes is giving yourself that freedom, giving that freedom to yourself of self-expression, of exploration, of anything that you thought you couldn't give yourself to, and project it onto the outside world to confirm to you that you are not free. Because all the real development, all the real freedom and fulfillment and love and happiness start from within.
So wherever you are coming from, whatever culture, whatever background, whatever religion, we're not here to alter or change your beliefs, all right, about anything external. The only thing we want to start to challenge is your belief about yourself, to enhance it, to make it better, to break any and all limitations that could be getting in the way, to enhance your experience within whatever it is you already believe in, so that more of you shows up into whatever it is that you believe in, how you behave, how you act with other people. The more authentic and more real you can be, the more you can be, the more you're going to stand out. And that's going to work out in every area of your life, isn't it? So that you can become that individual, so that you can really show your true colors, and people will get to appreciate and love you even more, rather than you having to pretend, or like a lot of people feel like they're an imposter, or they're acting in some way, or they're a fraud, whatever it might be. The more you show up and actually show your true colors and get to enhance your personality and put it out there, the more lovable you'll be, the more approachable you'll be. And that will help in your business, your love life, with your children, with anything that involves relationships. And that's where we are right now. You know, the idea of relationships and us bumping into each other not that long ago, and what we've managed to accomplish together, it's been rather incredible. And just seeing what you've done, the Queen of Relationships, how you've had thrusted upon you the responsibility of multiple businesses, and obviously running a family, a household, to see how quickly you've forged these relationships based on your experience of personal development and growth, that allows you to transition and change and adapt with times. It's having that agility that's so important, because the only thing that is inevitable is change, and a lot of people resist this, right?
That's true. Adaptability to change is your most important skill nowadays, because we can see how quickly things change. And the relationship with yourself, and the relationship with the loved ones, and the relationship with other people is what it's all built on. Businesses, families, and all the circumstances, most of the circumstances you find yourself in, will be always bringing you back to relationships and being able to communicate and align to a common vision. And as long as the decisions and thinking is made out of that space of unity, that space of understanding, that space of non-judgmental approach, then everything is possible. And that always starts with yourself. It always starts with facing the fears that we have inside from those conversations that we have inside ourselves, that have been built up layer after layer after layer based on the experiences we had with our caretakers, for example. And then having to challenge that and go, okay, that's the story that I have been told. But is that story true? Does that really truly represent who I am? And actually going back to that innocent, beautiful child that has the answers to all the questions, that beautiful, innocent child that knows how to connect to everyone and everything. And let that child sometimes lead from that pure, beautiful space.
And a lot of the time we want to find the answers through inviting someone else in and wondering, why do we keep repeating the same mistakes? Until we learn from those lessons, until we look within ourselves and stop pointing the finger and realizing, the finger actually lies here, then finally do you have the power to be able to make the changes. Because as soon as putting your finger and blaming other people, where is the power in order to change anything? You have to look here. As much as it can be painful, but what's on the other side of fear is everything. And when you do that and you're willing to take that leap, because the resources are all around you, and we've done a lot of our own research and utilize this within ourselves to be able to forge the kind of relationship that we have now, to be where we are in such a short space of time, is indicative to the process. And that's why we trust it so much. And this is why we want to share it based on our own experience, because it's real. And when it's real and we face the truth, the ugliness of ourselves, and able to put that out there, suddenly we're not held by fear. And when you do this, your life can really open up. As we were talking yesterday, imagine a rosebud closed, and it starts to begin to open. A lot of people are out there still closed. They never really see the color inside. No one else gets to see what the color of that plant actually is. But when you do the work, you suddenly see that bud will open up and a beautiful rose will appear, and it starts to smell really good.
It will not be new information. those who have been in personal development that all the relationships we have are like mirrors of our own aspects of selves showing up in another person. Now, more often than not, if we see something that we don't like, we will react to that, having to, blame or accuse or judge the other person. But it is actually just a reflection of us not accepting a certain part of ourselves or being in conflict with a certain part of ourselves. Now, as I said before, this is something that's been going around for quite some time in the personal development field. But what if we were to translate this from the point of enough, from the point of abundance? What does it look like actually having accepted the parts of yourself and being able to respectably and lovingly invite more of those aspects of yourself through the relationships that you are having? We don't even know what we're capable of when we reach out from our hearts, because the heart is where we create from. Breaking the boundaries of expanding to new horizons, of feeling deeper feelings, is where it all lies. The mind can and will somehow systematize it, but it will never be able to feel. It will never be able to go to the depths that the heart can go to. Now, what if the heart and the mind were aligned? What if it finally reaches that point where there is balance and understanding? What happens from that point? Well, this is why we are here. And this is why we share this space with you. Because we know that once you feel it, and once you know it's real, you'll never gonna want to give that up.
Okay, so how you are and what you are is certainly a deep reflection of what you're receiving. I remember the days of working in offices, doing sales jobs, and seeing other people ring the bell, doing really well, and how hard it was to show show congratulations and success to them, realizing that was a limitation. To see someone else's success and judge them for it means that you're pushing away success for yourself of how you may perceive it. So really a skill of practicing is the abundant mindset, to know there is enough for everyone. And it took me a long time to shift this based on my own beliefs and stories I told myself from my childhood and growing up, to say and to really congratulate people for what they've managed to accomplish and do, because this was able to then get off my own judgment of myself. And I know Julia has this really down to a T. She just lets it flow, her appreciation and abundance, and reminds me how much more abundant I can be with my own mindset.
An abundant mindset is like a muscle, something that you have to train. And you do it over and over by bringing the focus on what you do actually have and who you actually are and how far you've come. Now, this brings forward those feelings of gratitude for simple things that we take for granted. Now, when that gratitude grows and when it becomes bigger, then your experiences of the here and now become more and more profound. And guess what? The universe has this amazing way of providing more and more of that for you, that sometimes it feels so beautifully overwhelming that you receive more than you have ever experienced. Now, the quality of your life majorly depend on the quality of your moments. And now, if in those moments you are experiencing joy and happiness and fulfillment, then you are likely to experience and create more of those.
How do you know when you've met someone who really is serving you at the highest level, for your higher self? For myself, my experience here was breaking an old pattern, breaking an old pain that I thought I needed, out of a feeling of certainty. We can seem to go back to old ways because of a feeling of certainty. We want what we know more than the happiness that may feel like it's out of our reach. Finally having it, because of the work I've done previously, allowed the space for me to go, you know what? I don't need to go into an old pattern of suffering or pain. This new way is able to now develop our relationship, and we're able to then enhance and grow from this space. When you meet a partner who is non-critical, non-judgmental, has an open space, a big heart, and really sees and believes in you, then you really realize that, you know what, the true love is to allow myself to see that this is the space that I deserve. And when you do that, and you start to realize your own potential and the space that your partner is creating for you to grow and expand in, then your old self, the old critical ways can start to dissolve with that too. So once that happens, you're able to then go beyond I looked at it as the sort of prehistoric man, where how I behaved before to where I am now. It's sort of an elevated state, which means I access something that Dr. John D. Martini calls it the talos, old, I believe, Greek methodology, the idea of accessing your higher self. You're able to then operate and go from a higher self and have a different perspective on your whole life and who you are. And from that space, there is less judgment. You're less frozen from fear. You're able to see a bigger picture of what's way ahead of you, which means your vision can go that much further. Here we are today as an example of this exactly. And this, again, is something we want to instill onto you. And when you start to practice this, you realize that when you develop this area of your life, it shows up in everything else you do. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And with that in mind, when you start to practice this, you'll start to see this evolving in many different areas of your life.
Sometimes it just takes that perspective of having another person next to you to be able to recognize the progress that you have made. Again, having to be critical on ourselves. We shortchange our own progresses sometimes and rely on somebody else's value point and evaluation of you. This is where a healthy relationship and a healthy, real interaction is what will grow you.
Because we're so aligned and because we have this vision to impact as many people as we can, my sort of systematic way about myself and bringing this into how to help children, for one, which is one of your obviously top values, and you having the, should we say, resources and space in order to come together, that makes this, well, we're alchemizing, really. We're creating this synergy that's a very powerful energy, and to only keep it within ourselves would seem ludicrous. So the idea is to, how do we expand this and express it in any means possible? And as I said in the introduction, this is our way. This is the channel, and the channel here, the YouTube, the channel from applications on your phone, whatever it takes to really make that impact in your life that you can use on a daily basis. We're going to do everything we can, because we really truly believe that if we can create this, you can create it, and in your own way that's unique to you. So there is no limitation. That's what we're about. We're all about breaking through any and all limitations, excuses, stories, and so much more. And you know what it is? The art of letting go. Letting go of what you think you already know, because there's a safety in that, of what you know. That is limiting. It has been, from my experience, our experience, to be able to just let that go and allow for something else to come in. I mean, we might have this idea of a vision and you put it out there, but how we're going to get there is completely out of our hands. And if you want to know the path, exactly how it's going to work, it'd be pretty boring. And we forget that. It's the process and what comes up and what shows up and how we react to it. And that's what it is. We have no idea what's going to happen in 5 minutes time, in 1 day's time, in 1 year's time, right? We might have this idea of how we want it to be, but we all know how that works out doesn't usually work out the way we would think it does. So what it is about, how do we cultivate our behavior in the way that we react to situations or scenarios around ourselves? Because if we react through a program that is a way that means you're defensive or hard done by, or you're a victim, guess what? You're going to keep on creating scenarios that meet that mindset, right? And with that, you're going to react to it and keep meeting it in the future. So the idea is to learn from it, be aware of it, and accept it where you're at a time, so that you can move beyond that and go, right, if I can react to these situations differently, I'm going to get a whole different result, a whole different response. And I don't have to feel like you're in the mud, where you're just sort of really struggling through it. It gets easier and easier as the more you look within yourself and start to put out the weeds. Go, that's, you know what, I used to act this way. You may look back at your life before and go, you know what, I really see a change. I used to be this way, and I see the situation unfolded again. I'm completely different. So what has changed? The thing outside of yourself, or your reaction to it? I'm sure you realize it's your reaction to it, is how you now behave. And with that in mind, what you do now, your future self is going to meet. And where you're at now, your past self has done whatever it's done. And we accept the past, and because there's not much we can change about that, we accept the present moment and go, right, what am I willing to do differently? And then you think about your future self and go, what do I want my future self to meet? Right?
Yes, absolutely. This is the exciting part of the process because of the way that it shows up.
Every step of the journey, and we will get back to comments. We will get back to everything that you possibly have to share, because this is, again, growing. We're learning. We don't know what's going to happen when we put this out there to you, but how we know is how we're going to certainly behave and walk the talk of what we've been talking about today. And with that in mind, is what's allowed us to be able to do this in the first place. And we welcome any and all suggestions and what it is you want us to explore together, as we grow along with you on your journey.
And the fact that you are watching this video right now means that we are answering a certain call, a certain impulse that has been coming from within, and you have had some questions and you are open to exploring more that there is. So we would like to establish a level of communication that is both ways, so that we know that when we're sending this message out with the intention of value, that it finds its place in your hearts and in your minds. And having to get back your feedback is valuable for us, because then we can grow through it together. And having the ways that we want to reach you guys out, expanding further and further, so that it will be consistent with this relationship that we have set out to have with you guys.
If you're watching up to this point, one, I applaud you. We applaud you, because it shows your willingness and your focus, and how much you actually believe in yourself. Because this message is not just about us. It's not even coming from us. It's coming from something else. And you to resonate with that, to hear this, means that there's something within you, a striving for more of yourself, and more of an expansion of yourself. And if that is the case, and this does resonate with you, please subscribe, press the button, make sure that you don't miss any of the videos that are coming out, because they're there to serve you at the end of the day. And if you can do this, and obviously give us your feedback, it's all going to serve you in the long term. So again, thank you for checking us out and watching this, and we can't wait to deliver even more impactful information, value, and content.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.